Hello everyone, this is Coach Sean, and we have finished reviewing the hitting video from early December, and we're now just putting together your hitting lessons. There's some things that are common amongst a lot of our hitters that the videotape is showing us, and I just wanted to start by reviewing some of these things so that everybody can become familiar with them, what they are, how they affect your swing, what you can do to correct it, practice drills, etc. What I'd like everyone to do after you read these things is stop your video, go online, go to our website, saintsbaseball.club. Once you're at the website, saintsbaseball.club, I would like you to go to the features page, and I'd like you to watch the following videos. The first one I would like you to watch is Fix Your Flat Swing, Master the Snap Drill. I believe this drill is essential in any hitter's swing. If you do not move your hands, turn the triangle, snap the bat rearward, and pull your hands through a swing, you're not going to have your best swing. You're not going to be able to attack the balls on the corners and things of that nature. A flat swing is going to have trouble hitting outside and inside pitches. What we are trying to build with our hitters is a complete hitter, somebody with no holes in their swing that can attack all the balls in the zone and drive the ball from gap to gap at your 18 to 22 degree upward plane, thusly making each hitter the best they can be. So again, if you do not snap your bat correctly, this drill is perfect for slowing it down, duplicating it, mimicking the process, and is something that everybody should be able to do or know about so that they can work on getting there in the future. So again, I'd like you to start by watching those two videos. I think 3 videos associated to that part of the drill. The second thing I'd like you to watch is casting your hands in the swing. It's the second video on the page. Casting your hands is something that most of our hitters are doing. A large number of them anyway are doing. And casting the bat, simply put, will flatten your swing. Okay, it's the incorrect use of your hands in the swing that flattens your plane of your bat, which is going to make you, again, have difficulty hitting inside and outside pitches. It's going to give you holes in your swing, and this is a great video series so that you can understand what it is, how you're doing it, and again, ways to fix it. So that's very important. Thirdly, loose hands drill. It's lower down on the page, and I have a feeling from watching these videos that not everybody's holding their bats correctly. The bat should be held very loosely, and every one of our players should investigate using a grip aid, whether it's pine tar or the tacky waxy substances, something of that nature. But if you look at a major league on deck circle, there's probably 4 or 5 grip aids that the batters are using every at bat before they go to bat in most cases. And on the Saints team, we've got literally 1 or 2 people using pine tar, and not on a regular basis. So again, I would like all the players to understand how to grip a bat, the best way to grip a bat, why they're gripping it that way, and how it contrasts with what they're doing. And I'd like them to try to mimic and copy the folks in these hand drills so that they can, again, feel the difference in the swing with loose hands. So we've got that video. We've got the Justin Turner's loose hands bat grip, which all that does is show his loose grip preload. Again, very important for the kids to get that, let it sink in, and see if they can change their grip to get their hands and wrists looser in the swing. So go ahead and go watch those and then come on back to your lesson. Okay, now that you've done that, let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to achieve here. In general, a hitter that is approaching 15 years old, or by the time he reaches 16, he should be very proficient at covering the zone, meaning having a swing that will produce a line drive anywhere from gap to gap at anywhere from 16 to 22 degree upward trajectory. A player should be able to hit a pitch in that direction that is anywhere in the zone. That is a batting practice or soft toss pitch or off a tee. Okay, yes, it's a different thing when you put a live pitcher in there throwing top speed for your age group, but by age 15, 16 at the latest, you should be very well accomplished with the quick short swing that covers the whole zone, that puts the ball into the right place. So what we're trying to do is build that with each player, and what we're seeing from just a few flaws, not a lot of stuff needs to be cleaned up with a lot of our hitters, but this snap drill and how you initiate the swing and casting the hands are the two biggest things we need to fix so that our kids can get on the trajectory of being able to hit a ball in the strike zone where they need and want to hit it. So our goal is trying to get you all in that direction. So that's what we're working on here. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So the first thing I want to show you here is this hitter performing the snap drill. And let's just roll it so you can see it. Okay, let's play it live. You see how he does it nice and slow, making sure he's keeping everything in its right position with the right sequence. And this drill right here, we're going to call the snap drill. And I believe every one of our hitters on our team needs to practice this a lot on a regular basis. Even after you master it, you need to keep doing it just to make sure it stays regular and an easy feeling for you. And let's take a look at some of the breakdown on this thing here. So what you're trying to achieve is more of a horizontal or downward swing. As you can see at the point of contact, so to speak, the angle of his bat. Okay. That angle right there is what you're trying to achieve on most pitches, not an outside and high pitch, for example, but for a lot of the pitches on the plate, that's the angle you're trying to achieve, okay? So, of course, he did that and achieved that angle by starting with a good triangle with this 90 degrees. He's got a proper hand grip. Okay, look at that really close. And as you move it forward here, he's snapping the bat rearward. Snapping the bat rearward. And one important thing in being able to do that, which is also part of the snap deal teachings, is this right here. The right forearm for a right-hander, left forearm for a left-hander. This degree should always be close to 90 degrees at all times until you get into the power V, or the tail end of your swing. So as you watch that angle through the swing, you can see he's kept it more or less at contact right there. Okay? So the relationship of the forearm to the bat should always be 90 degrees. When you start the swing, the first movement here, there's his go right there. His triangle starts to turn, his bat comes rearward, his forearm and bat are at 90 degrees, and he simply maintains that posture through the swing. And you can see there he really starts to get his left elbow moving forward and around and up, and starts plunging his left shoulder rearward. Okay? So as you watch this here, see how far that left shoulder or left elbow is going to maintain his 90 degrees. Now he's essentially turned his triangle all the way, and it's facing the pitcher. Okay? If you do not, which a lot of our hitters don't, if you do not turn that elbow up and out, that elbow will stop right where it's at. Okay? If your elbow stops in here, which a lot of our players' elbows do, if you're stopping here, the only place for the arms and hands to then go, the forearms and the hands, is out and around that elbow. Okay? So these are then going to come outward. Okay? That would be his arm extended right there, so to speak. If he stops the elbow, this hand has nowhere to go but out and around the elbow. Okay? Which will make you cast your bat, which will give you a flatter swing plane and make it tough to reach inside pitches and outside pitches on a regular basis. So again, this snap drill is something everybody should grab a wiffle ball bat, standing in front of a mirror, practice this methodically, slowly, until you get it and it's comfortable. And once it's comfortable, you should continue to do it on a regular basis. Okay? So let's flip this for our left-handers. Let them take a look. Okay, this drill is real easy to practice as well. What you do is you get in the batter's box with a tee, you get your feet lined up, you take and you measure the distance from the hands to the sweet spot of your bat, and you get in this position, put the bat near the ball, you recreate this whole position right here, and then you simply back it up to your load and you slowly proceed between the 2 points until you can do it quickly and correctly. Okay, so I want everybody to work on that. I want you to do it at home. I want you to do it in the cages, at practice. I really want everybody to concentrate on gaining what it feels like to start your swing like this. Very important. Okay, here's another version of the snap drill. It should also be practiced with one hand. This is the portion of the drill where you're concentrating on a 90-degree or a perpendicular angle, 90 degrees from the bat to your left elbow or right, your forearm or your right forearm if you're right-handed. Let's watch this gentleman demonstrate the drill. So along with the other version of this, everybody should practice this on a regular basis. You should get it to feel as comfortable as possible, and some of the things to remind you of here is you can see how the elbow and everything starts to slot and everything works together simultaneously. The same thing with the two-hand snap drill, okay? So now we've got this flipped for right-handed players to see what it looks like. Okay, so again, the ability to do this and master these drills and get a good feel for handling the bat like these instructors are. Again, bat speed controls how far and hard we hit the ball. So you want to gain as much bat speed as possible, and you can see the whip from laying it down like this is how you're going to gain more bat speed, okay? That's how early bat speed is gained. The second thing it's going to do for you, it's going to get the bat on the right path, which is going to help you hit more balls where you want to hit them. So keep all that in mind as you're practicing this drill. And the third way to practice the snap drill is with a PVC pipe. Okay, and here is the third way to practice the snap drill, and this is with the PVC pipe that was provided to you by Chris, or this could be with a broomstick, something of that nature. And let's just watch this gentleman. You can see how he moves everything simultaneously. Everything's firing at once. The snapping of the hands, the slotting of the right elbow, the upward movement of the left shoulder and elbow to turn the triangle, and bam. Okay, now again, this is exaggerated. You're not going to exactly swing this way every time, but it does show, and by exaggerating, get everything moving in the right direction on the right path. So let's flip it for our left-handers. Okay, so there are the 3 ways to practice the snap drill, and I highly suggest everybody masters these drills. Get them looking just the way these instructors do in the video. Okay? So here we have Justin Turner loaded in here, and I want to take a quick look at the ending of his swing so that we have contrast for later when we get into the individual videos. But you can see he's 3/4 of the way through his swing here, and if we draw a line right here, this line indicates what a lot of our players are doing that are casting their hands. If you cast your hands, what that's going to do, it's going to stop your elbows in this area right here of the swing. It's not going to allow you to get to this position. Okay? So again, take a quick look at that and then parlay that into your swing and see what the differences are. But if you do stop your elbows and cast the bat, that's what's going to give you the rotational, flatter swing. So here is Aaron Judge, and let's look at his full swing. Again, look at the same points. As he's 3/4 of the way through his swing here, before contact. You'll see that he maintains his 90-degree relationship with his elbows and triangle. You'll see here that his elbow is way up by his shoulder. His shoulder is moving rearward. And it appears he's got a ball on a pretty good trajectory, and with his bat speed, I'm assuming that's a home run or close to it, right there. He's got a perpendicular relationship here with the bat and the flight of the ball. He pulled his hands inside nicely, and he got some nice results on this swing. So if we look at the front of the swing here, if you look at the hands, and the elbows, you will see that all that stuff moves simultaneously. You will also see his left elbow simply goes upward, like so. So let's go ahead and get into the individual lessons, and we'll discuss some of this stuff in further depth as we have you on the screen here. Alrighty, Cade, here's your video lesson. I just want to let you know here that we are going to attach your raw hitting video so you can see it in totality. When you watch it, just look for pitch location versus where you're hitting the ball, the flight of the path of the ball after it's hitted or after it's been hit. Just make reference to what you're doing with certain pitches, how many pitches you're hitting in the gap-to-gap area from 16 to 22% versus rolling over on or hitting low or hitting too high. Pay attention to that as you watch it. And also I'm going to load some of your pitching stuff in here so you can see that and get a jump on that, so when we dissect that later you'll already have an understanding of your delivery here. So let's get into your action plan. Okay, so in general, after reviewing your swings here, you do have a lot of good stuff going on. You move the bat very well, you move your triangle very well, you seem to have loose hands and wrists. But there is a few points that I would bring up of areas that we can improve on. And to do so, I built a small little action plan for you to be able to work on this stuff, know where you're at, have a roadmap of where you're going with your swing, and some things to work on here. So as all of our swingers can, the master of the snap drill is a big one. You do it pretty well, but I think it can be improved and get the bat on a little bit more downward plane. But again, that's important for early bat speed. It's something that you should master, get really good at it, slow and methodically, and then speed it up without losing the technique. So that's something I want you to start practicing on as soon as you can. You don't do it too badly, but I think we can get more separation and load. When you step out with your left foot, you can keep your upper body and right shoulder back a little bit longer to create that rubber band, tension in the rubber band between the left hip and the right shoulder. The other thing that you're doing, not a ton, but enough to make it a concern of mine, where we should probably look at why we're doing that and try to eliminate it on pitches, is full extension of the arms and getting to the power V. Certain times and certain pitches you do it just fine, and then other pitches you kind of roll your triangle through the zone without getting extended into your power V. So let's look at that situation, see how we can improve that, because without full extension you're not going to get proper bat whip, bat speed, and hit the ball as hard as you would otherwise. So you don't seem to cast your hands that often. That's awesome. You do maintain your 90-degree triangle integrity pretty well through your swing. Although on some swings, obviously the outside swings, you do it. So let's just visit what that is and how you can eliminate it completely or as much as possible based on the pitch. I think another thing to deal with casting in the snap drill is learning to attack certain pitches, like outside high pitches, in a different manner, coming through the zone with your hands. What comes to mind is the laser drill, where you pretend you have a laser attached directly to the end of the knob of your bat, aimed in the same direction as the bat, and you take that to the ball and you split the ball. If you put that little caveat in your head and you then do some swinging, sometimes that'll change the position of your hands in the swing. So again, I just like to visit all that stuff here in your video and in the cages, and make sure you're well rounded in that area. Next, we've got grip aids, loose hands and loose wrists. I really like your hands and your wrists in the swing. It looks like your grip's okay. I haven't really looked at it up close. The only reason I bring this up is I don't believe you use pine tar, and a lot of people find that pine tar helps their swing because they can keep their hands looser, and especially through the pulling phase, it really helps keep the bat tight to the hands. And of course the hands and the forearms are what controls the bat, so the looser that grip gets, the better the bat performs the way you want it to. So again, that's just to visit that with you and look at it and see if it can be improved at all. Right now I wouldn't say there's anything wrong in that needs to be jumped out and fixed, but let's see if we can improve it. And then lastly, roll weight, roll weight, roll weight. All our players need to do this, but you know, the forearms, the wrists, the hands, the muscles in the hands, that's what controls your bat. The more strength you have in those, the better you're going to hit. The more power, the more control, more consistency going at the ball is going to improve. So I just want to make sure you're currently doing that and continue doing it throughout the winter into April and even beyond. But you know, while we're trying to get our big jump and improvement in our swings here, I want to make sure that you devote time to doing that 3 times a week, 3 sets, as many as you can. So with that said, let's jump into your video. So here is a shot of you from what we're going to call down the line, attacking a low inside pitch. All in all, this is a really good swing. You put the ball on a little bit lower trajectory than you like, but this very well could be a base hit. You know, right by the shortstop, somewhere in that range. Maybe a little bit over his head, maybe right at him. But nonetheless, you didn't beat it into the ground. You didn't pop it up. And let's jump in a little bit further and dissect this thing. Okay, so we've got a low and inside pitch. So over the inner half of the plate, just above the knees, lower thighs. There is the trajectory of it. So you can see the flight path of the batted ball. And ideally, we want to be able to have a swing that gets a little bit more loft on that ball. So let's take a look at your mechanics. Okay, so we start here at the step and load. You're loaded, turning on it. It looks like your hands come through on a pretty good path. You don't cast the bat or cast your hands. So the 2 things that are of note here is, 1, the snap drill. Hopefully you've studied the video on that beforehand here, but you got a pretty good path to it. You could get a little bit more of a downward or you know, horizontal, vertical swing, if you will, that would present the bat in a different area in the pitch. The second thing, let's take a look at your elbows. So there's your elbows. To this point in the swing, you have maintained your 90-degree triangle. Like so. So that all looks really good there. But here's where the lack of extension notations come in here. So you get to this point, you're just short of your power V or where your power V should be, and instead you keep your elbows sucked up to your torso. As you can see, you're still pretty bent there as you start getting into the follow through. Okay, so you don't really get that full power V extension kind of situation going on that gives you maximum bat whip and exit velocity. Okay, so again, you only really do that on certain pitches, but we need to emphasize doing that on every pitch. In the practice setting where we got soft toss, front toss, not too high velocity, coach pitch, BP, you should really be aiming for solid contact from gap to gap on the proper trajectory. So that's going to help build consistency come game time. So again, all in all, you've done real good with this pitch. I just like to see better extension, a more downward swing plane to get you through the inside, but you do everything really, really good. I think you're just off a tick in some of these areas, and they appear to be very simple improvements to be made. So it's probably just a matter of hopping in the cage and tweaking this, tweaking that, and trying it, and then you can probably roll out a new swing is my guess. So that's that. Okay, so let's take a look at this swing against some other players, get some different ideas of maybe how it looks for other swings and other players. Here we got you mocked up with Sawyer. And let's roll the tape. Okay. So you can see with a little bit more straight down type of trajectory and perfecting the snap drill, how the bat gets in position to hit that same pitch from gap to gap. This is going just left of the center fielder at a little bit higher trajectory, not probably 20 or 22%. Sawyer's is probably, I don't know, maybe 16%, give or take. But the direction of the bat, the extension of the hands and the arms, being an inside pitch, he's not maybe 100% fully extended either. So that does happen on inside pitches to a degree. There's a couple different ways to do it, and I'll show you how Aaron Judge does it on an inside pitch. But nonetheless, there's a different flight path and flight direction of the ball based on how downward or Ferris wheel versus merry-go-round your swing is. So you can just see those things. A couple of other things to point out here is when we're hitting, we really want to be strong and aggressive with throwing our shoulder back and over. Okay, so if we do the contrast here, we look at you and you bring that shoulder back nicely. You really do. I'm just thinking you could probably plunge it back a little bit harder and really emphasize that. Just work on it and exaggerate it in batting practice. Overall, you're not really bad at all, but just something to think about to add a little bit of power to your swing. And it does help you clear your hands and get extended as well when you do that a little bit more aggressively. So if you look at your guys at if you look at yourselves at contact here, Sawyer looks to be just back a little bit further. If you look at that angle right there, you can see that Sawyer's a little steeper, which is part of getting your bat on a downward plane. So just a little side note there of the positioning of your shoulders. And it's hard to get into this position without the proper spine angle on the swing. So you come up a little bit taller, a little bit more straight here, and Sawyer's a little bit more bent over this at this point. So it all has to do with the rotation of your body, so to speak. You're not really aggressively rotating all the way from right to left your torso in a swing. You're more throwing your left shoulder back. But if your spine angle's correct, you can come through the ball. It provides space for your hands and arms to come through down here, whereas you become more rotational the taller you get. So just some stuff to keep in mind. Again, you hit that ball really well. It's just a matter of looking for that extra percentage in attack angle and trajectory of ball flight. Okay, so here we got you synced up with Aaron Judge, and let's just roll these back and forth so you can look at both of them in slow motion. Okay. So again, we've got a pitch roughly in the same area. And you can see here that Aaron gets a little more trajectory on the ball. Does pull it to left field. And if we erase our lines here, we can look at his extension and his power V. So that's Aaron's power V. You can see he's fully extended right there. He's gotten maximum power, bat whip, exit velocity off of this pitch. Okay. You can see right here he's just getting into his power V, but he's practically fully extended right there as well. You can see that he's very well maintained his triangle and his 90-degree separation of elbows as well. And let's take a look here at what some people call the laser drill. If you see as he's turning the triangle, The mental side of things at this point in time is he's thinking the knob of the bat, if it had a laser attached to it, pointing the same direction as the bat, as it is there. See that? At that point in the ball game, what you're trying to do to get all your body parts in the right position, but your hands, most importantly, is you want that laser coming off the end of your bat to slice right through the ball, okay? Once you attack a ball in that manner, you'll find that it's easier to keep your hands in front of your barrel till contact, which is a lot of times what you want. The good thing about people that swing their bat on the proper plane is you could hit it early or late in your swing as long as it's on path, and you can do a good amount of damage either way. But as a practice routine, you want to try to hit the ball gap to gap or even middle only, and your barrel cannot be ahead of your hands to do that. If your barrel gets out ahead of your hands, you're going to pull the ball. So the laser drill is something that's really good. It's just a mental approach to put in your head as you're swinging to remember that. So, and then as we move Aaron's torso around, I want to point out right there, just watch his elbow, his arm, his shoulder, and his torso, and probably his back as well. Let's take a look. Yep, his back as well. So just look at this. This is all staying connected. It really, until about here, doesn't change in relationship angle-wise. He doesn't bring the arm out without the body. He doesn't bring the body out without the arm. The back is moving in relationship to the elbow. So like a lot of people say in the hitting business here, you swing. A lot of people describe this as swinging with your chest. I prefer the term swinging with your back, because in the end, what we're trying to achieve, and you'll see that Aaron does it really well, what you're trying to achieve is throwing that shoulder back while you're pushing upward here, and you get a sensation up here, okay, like you're falling off a cliff. Okay, you can see all the great power hitters have that type of a swing where they're really pulling back with the left shoulder and falling off the cliff. But I wanted to really emphasize the fact that all of this moves together, and you know, again, one good way to describe it is you swing with your back. Everything else stays the way it is until you get it flung out and get into your power V and get extended. So really want you to take a look at that. You see how his elbow is very stable right there, and he really doesn't change the relationship of that at all. You know, he does move into his power V and extend, but you can see the relationship, you know, of all that is roughly in the same position as when he started his swing. So that's why you'll see hitting instructors say, you know, you don't swing with your arms, you swing with your body, or you swing with your chest, or you swing with your back. And that's a very, very important element in the swing. So just wanted to illustrate that as well. Okay, so here's a different pitch, same view. And let's roll it. See what we have here. We've got basically it looks like a middle pitch. It's at the hips and it's the middle of the plate, and you hit it opposite field in the gap at an awesome trajectory. So this is perfection right here, my friend. You get extended much better than you did on the last pitch. Okay? When I see a swing like this, this tells me that you're pretty good at the snap drill and you're coming at the ball on a Ferris wheel plane versus a merry-go-round, because if you are coming at this with a merry-go-round, you're not going to have that trajectory to the opposite field. Okay? So again, this is probably one of your best swings. Look at that again. So the only thing I would say about this swing here is remember the falling off the cliff sensation with your left shoulder. You get it back there so far that you feel like you're going to fall over backwards. Right there. You can see here that you still fall a little bit short. You know, right in there, everything breaks down. I'd like to see a harder pull further back with that left shoulder. Okay. It's going to give you probably a little bit more extension. You can see you didn't get 100% extended there. You can see that you've still got a little bend. You know, not every player always gets perfectly straight, but you got a little bit more bend there maybe than you should. So again, it just falls back to that extension thing. As I said, you know, some pitches you do it more and less. So some pitches you do it less than others. Sometimes you do it more. Just something to be conscious about and see if we can get that happening full extension on more pitches. Let's take a look at how you're walking away from your hands, so to speak, your load. You can see you're doing it. Okay, your left foot's coming forward. You can still see there that you got a little bit of move backwards in your upper body, but in trying to improve your swing, I would like to see a little bit more twist with the upper body while the lower body is moving out. So just something to put in your mind, practice in the cage, see what you can make comfortable. Again, beautiful swing. Okay, so here's an outside pitch. Looks to be middle thigh, maybe a hair lower, outside edge of the plate. If you did that in a game, I would say that's pretty darn good. However, this is front toss at a very slow velocity and attacking the ball with a little bit more downward angle, meaning perfecting the snap drill so the bat's coming through as a Ferris wheel and not a merry-go-round, and taking your hands to the ball just a little bit differently. Not too much different, but remember the laser, when you perfect that laser, and you can do that on every pitch off the end of the bat, I would say you'd get a little bit more trajectory and push it further to the right. Okay, let's look at your extension. Not bad. See, on an outside pitch, you're going to get into your power V a little bit earlier. Your power V is going to be pointing upward a little bit more on an outside pitch. So again, not bad, but just something to think about, getting that snap drill perfected, a lower trajectory, rolling to the ball, cutting the ball with the laser that's pointing off the knob of your bat. You're going to put that ball probably somewhere different and probably a little bit harder. So FYI. So here we have Aaron Judge mocked up with you on your same swing we just analyzed. Let's roll this and you can see what he did with a pretty similar pitch. Okay. Okay, so here is this outside pitch, and let's take a look at some of the differences in the swing. So I want to concentrate at this point right in this area here. You can see as we roll this forward, right there, if you picture a laser coming off the end of his bat, it's essentially dissecting the ball, cutting the ball in half. That laser comes through the ball, the bat gets laid down, the hands are now being pulled forward, and he's taking this outside pitch at a higher trajectory over the fence in right field. If we erase these lines and look at this again, okay, he hasn't broken his wrists yet. He's almost to his power V. He still hasn't broken his wrists and turned his wrists over. Right there you can see his wrists are equal opposites pointed right at each other. Right there. Get a good look at that. And here he starts breaking his wrists after, or he starts during, but they roll over at the end of the power V. Okay? If we come back here, and roll this, you can see that right there your wrists are already rolled a little bit. Changing the dynamics of the power V. So I just want to get in the cage and you know, now that you're aware of some of this stuff, kind of work on it. See if we can get some different actions, some different feels. The reason you're rolling over there is has a lot to do with the way you do the snap drill and attack the ball with your hands in that laser at the end of your bat. I mean, all in all, if you hit this pitch in a game, that sure looks like it's a base hit or close to it. It is a little bit lower trajectory, but it does look like it probably clears the second baseman and gets over the second baseman. Anybody in the stands and anybody in the dugout, including myself, would congratulate you for that hit. But again, our goal is to fine-tune all this stuff, give you as much knowledge about your swing and how your swing works, and shoot to get that ball on a 18 to 22 degree upward trajectory. So that's why it's best that we pay attention to these details and work on this stuff in practice. Okay, so that concludes the hitting. Let's put a few clips of your pitching up here for you to see. Now we'll sync you up with Abram for some comparison looks. Okay, so I'll attach your raw pitching and hitting video and finalize this and get it to the website for you. Let's hit it off of this thing. I'm going to record. Hey!
Move all balls over here, buddy. Same thing, okay? Except if I'm going to hold it sometimes, point to the camera to show what